Hi, my name is Guy Hancock, and I'm an instructor of computer technology at Ultimate Medical Academy. I'm here to help you learn more about using computers to be effective and efficient at whatever you're doing. So let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about how you open and close applications and some of the things that might be common to the Office applications. So there are multiple ways of opening an application. So anyone that's down here in the taskbar at the bottom of the screen, if you mouse over that, you'll see any files that are open. And the fact that it has a bar underneath it means it's already open. If you want to open one that's not open, then you can just click on it, and that will start it up. If you right-click on it, you will see the files that you have opened recently, and you can click on any of those to open the application with that particular file. So that's one way. Another way, an application is not pinned in your taskbar, you can get to that by clicking on the Windows Start button, and that brings up a scrolling list of all the applications on your computer. So you can go through this list to select them, and the Microsoft applications may be in the M's, but for instance, Word is down here at the bottom in the W's. So if I click on that, it will start up Microsoft Word. And that is going to bring me to a screen. Well, I must have had that open already. Let me close that. Let's try again. We'll start up Word. That did bring me to a blank document. I was expecting that to take me to this screen. This is called the Backstage, which you get to from the File menu, the File tab here. And on the Backstage, you have a bunch of different views. Different things are back here. So one of the first ones is for a new file, and that gives you either a blank document as first option, or you have all these templates. As you can see, there are all different kinds of categories of templates. So here's resumes and cover letters. And you can open a template, and you can change it all you'd like fill in your name and so on. But you have to save it with a different name. That's what makes it a template. It's locked, so it can't be saved unless you change the name, which makes it a new file. Preserves the template there. So you can search through the templates by categories, business, all kinds of things back here. What these do is save you time. These are all set up, and you just fill in your text in place of the placeholder text that's already in these documents. So that's an important thing. Another thing on the Backstage is some options for protecting your document and management. And so if we click on this, you can see that you can save this document so that it's read-only when it first opens. You can save it with a password and encryption, which means that you cannot open it or view it without using that password again. You can also transmit it, and it will be unreadable even if it's intercepted because it's been encrypted. So these are some options there. So you have the Save button, which saves, and Save As, which will save a copy with a new name, and Print and Share. You can email a copy, or you can email someone and give them access to a document that's on your OneDrive. You can change the type of document, make it into a web page or a PDF file. And then you can close it, which you can also do with this red X here in the upper right corner. Something else I'd like to show you here on options is that you have all these options in any of the Office applications, and each of these gives you a large menu of choices. An important one is proofing, and that one, I want to make sure that you would have the writing style down here is grammar and refinements, and you can go to the settings on that and it gives you a long list of settings that the grammar checker will look for, and the punctuation checker and the spelling checker. You would want most of these to be checked. This is the default list as it comes, but you can add more things to it or uncheck things. But you're going to be writing in academic or formal business English, and so you want to not have most of these errors, and you want it to help you find them. So if you make those changes and you click OK, there are many other things on here. It's worth exploring these to see what's in each of these items and what you can do with that. So I'm going to get out of there. So we've gone over a couple different ways to open an application. There are some things I'd like to recommend that you always have set a certain way. And for Word, one of those is that on the View menu tab up here, I like to make sure that the ruler is showing. So here's the ruler at the top of the document, and it's also on the side. And that's handy. I just have it showing all the time. But then on the Home tab, the other thing I like to have showing is the paragraphs. So this button is a toggle which turns the paragraph marks on or off. So let me make this a lot bigger and show you what I mean by this. So these are non-printing characters. The paragraph returns the tabs and spaces, and if you toggle this off, you don't see those. So this is what it will look like when it prints, but that doesn't really help you when you're editing and writing it. So I like to have those showing on screen all the time. It does not bother me. It does bother some people, so I understand. But it's very helpful to have that on most of the time. One other thing I wanted to point out here on the Office documents, on the Review tab, there's a button over here for Language. And if you click on that, you see another button that says Set Proofing Language. And if you click that, you will see this dialog box show up. And it selects your language that you're going to use, the Word is going to use for proofing to check spelling and grammar. This little checkbox right here is sometimes checked by default, which means that Word will not check your spelling or grammar, and you do want it to do that. So make sure that this box is unchecked. And once you do that and say OK, then this will apply to any Word document that you open on your computer after that. So we've gone over how to open the document, and then saving. When you go to Save, do File, do Save As, and you want to generally go down to the Browse, which is the option at the bottom. And that's going to take you to your File Explorer. And again, most of the time you're going to want to save on your OneDrive in your Documents folder, and then you may have a folder for a course, for instance. So here's one for CI2000. And then you navigate to where you want it to save. Then you give it the title that you want it to have. And then below that is the Save As type. So if you click on this list, you can see that you have a long list of options of ways you can save this document. Most of the time, you're going to just leave this blank and save it as a Word document. But there may be times when you want to save it as a template. You might set up a stationery that you want to use over and over, but if you save it as a template, then each time you open it, you'll write whatever text you want and then save it with a new name, and your template is preserved. These are some options. Occasionally you want to save as a PDF. What this means is that people can view it in a browser. If they don't have Microsoft Word, they can still view the document. On the other hand, it means that they're very unlikely to be able to edit it. And so those are just some other options. So once you've answered all these things, you click Save, and your document will be saved. And then to exit the application, you can close this particular document. The application will stay open if you have other documents of that application still open on your computer. If that's the last document, by that application, then the application itself will close. So you can also go down here to the taskbar and use the X here to close an application or a document, either one. So those are some ways of opening and closing files on your computer. And I also mentioned before that if you right-click on these applications down here in the taskbar, you will see a list of the recent files that you've opened. And you'll also see if you have files pinned. I didn't have one there. Let's see if there's one here. Yeah, I have something pinned. So anything that's pinned will always be in the list, where the recents are going to change every time you open a new file. It will appear in this list, but one of the older ones will roll off the list. So those are other ways of opening files. So I just wanted to go over those. I hope that was helpful. Thanks again for watching the video introduction to Windows 10. I hope you learned some new things, or at least got refreshed on things that you knew and hadn't used in a while. So thanks again. Well, hi again. Thanks for watching. I hope this was a good review of things that you already knew how to do and that you learned some new things. And happy computing.